Hold that laughter, people. Okay. Ta-da! Someone said we needed a new sign, so I made a new sign. Hello, Good morning!
Good morning!
Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz, Rebecca, and Hannah.
Yeah, we need to find something for you to say.
Oh, goodness.
So we all say something at the beginning, but we'll figure that out later.
Okay.
I don't know. No show notes, people. We're winging this. Hi, look. I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in, chillier than it should be, Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
She's the middle one.
I'm Hannah. I'm minion number 2.
There you go. Someone last time commented, oh, she said 2 and she held up 4 fingers. I don't know if you did this last time or what you did.
Quite possibly.
But see, that's still 2. She's like, I like her already. And I was like, I don't. Okay. So
It's a thing.
Another comment last time, not that we're this immediate with feedback, because we're not, but someone last time was like, we need a new sign, and I was like, yeah, when am I gonna have time? So I just busted this out. That's us. Okay, yeah. The hardest thing for me to do with my hair, although my hair did get off on this, I don't care, is I have to
Volumize?
No.
Devolumize?
No. Shush! I didn't wash my hair this morning. I just tried to make it curly again, and it kind of worked.
I don't think any of us washed our hair this morning.
No. That's why I have space buns.
I did wash the rest of me. But anyway, that's getting into TMI territory. What? What?
You have
Fairy hair?
Oh.
You want to tuck a fairy hair?
No,
okay,
it was a...
I'm good.
Getting back to this. So, okay, this is the thing. The hardest thing for me to do is to make my part on the correct side because I'm so used to looking at myself in the mirror. You know, so I'm like, hey, if I draw myself, I will draw myself in the mirror image, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes, you know. And so I'm like, okay, as I draw this, I want to put my part on this side, but I have to put it, I want to put it on this side, but I have to put it on this side. Anyway. So, here, before we start, I should have done this to be ready, but okay. I hit my knee on the table. It's a good thing the camera's not on the table. So this is our old sign that I made back in 2020. Back when Liz wasn't doing dreads yet. And I had slightly longer hair than I did now. And then it got really long. And then it got short. And then, now it's...
And you were triangle cowling.
I was wearing a lot of triangle cowls. So this was reflective of us. And Liz was always in her triangle shawls. That's what this is. And so I'm trying to make this represent us a little more. And I've got the funky mid curly-ish hairdo. You're doing dreads. And I think one of your favorite do's that I tried to put here is the 2 poof balls, but that's supposed to look more like her dreads. And then Hannah, you have the cute poof balls this morning, but often I find if you're doing an updo, it's
It's the bun.
It's the messy bun, which is so hard to get right. No, I don't. Do you know what I mean?
Bun?
The messy bun.
Oh, I heard the bestie bun, and I was like, what is that?
No, it's a messy bun, and it's hard to make a messy bun look good, and I think you accomplish it. So
Thank you.
I try it,
You
and
have
it's
perfected the messy bun.
I appreciate it, guys.
So I just drew a couple of little sprigs at the top of her bun to try to simulate a messy bun without getting too messy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get grass in my bun.
Okay, so we have a new sign that is not as rumpled. I did fold the bottom by accident, but it's not as rumpled as the old sign. And we'll just see. And there's things about this that, I did it really fast. So there's things about that could be better. And you were like, you can redo it. And I'm like, I'll give it a week.
We'll give it a week.
Yeah. So, okay. We want to talk about our projects. I'm thinking in my head. I'm sorry. Dead air. Dead air is bad. We
can giggle.
Good at that.
Okay. I want us to show off our projects and stuff, but I also want to make sure we don't miss some stuff. We got a Dear Becky and Lizzie.
And our
We'll get to that in a
announcement kind of ties in with that. The one thing you didn't want to forget kind of ties in with our
That's true.
question.
You're all like, don't want to say what it was, but no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Go for it.
Yeah.
Well, we can do the official stuff up front, and
Yeah, I think, okay. I want to talk about make-alongs, but I think I'm going to do that at the back end.
well, that's fine.
But
We
we'll
have
talk-
Sunday thing that you wanted to.
I know. You can say it. You don't have to be
We're
like...
doing Sunday virtuals at instead.
I don't have
Sunday.
to say it. Yeah, so the dual platform virtual sit and stitch. You don't have to be all mysterious about it. And stuff.
Maybe I
She
do.
is mysterious.
Ooh.
Okay. Toodaloo, toodaloo. Okay. Sunday, dual platform virtual sit and stitch, which we haven't done for several months, is back. It is this Sunday. When we planned it out like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, it was like, okay, we need more time to make sure people know it's happening. And now it's already still happening, and I'm not sure if people know. So, January 19th, dual platform virtual sit and stitch. It's a Sunday. We were doing this once a month before, and we're trying to get back to it. And it will be on Facebook Live. I know the traffic's distracting. No, you're okay. Facebook Live and Zoom. And Facebook Live, it's, well, oh, sorry. What time is it, Hannah?
2 to 4 Eastern Standard Time,
Yes.
not U.S.
Yes.
You
Eastern.
said U.S. last time.
Well, no. I say U.S. because we have people who join us from other countries.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why.
U.S.
So,
Eastern Time.
What I
US
say,
Eastern.
I say U.S. Eastern Time, or because I'm never sure when it's standard
You just
and when
straight
it's
up
daylight.
said U.S. Standard Time, though.
It's
Oh,
Yeah.
that's missed it. That.
it's standard until we spring forward. And then
I
it's
don't know if that's my
daylight.
brain or if that's we all like just like those of us in our age range, not Hannah's, like to say perimenopause limit for everything. But I think it could just
I
be
like
my
to say
brain.
Mercury's in retrograde.
Oh, okay. Totally random aside. I'm gonna squirrel here for a second.
Shocker.
We're already on a squirrel.
So I went down the rabbit hole of the Wired on YouTube. I know you don't like YouTube. We'll just let that go. Like experts answer questions posed on Twitter, and one of them. They're
Yeah.
like, you know, this is like they'll have like a paleontologist and be like, this is dinosaur help, or you know, like.
Is it Ross?
Huh? No, it's not. It's a real paleontologist. Okay, so and I'm trying to make this a short story, but I'm gonna have to say long story long. So they had someone on who was like an astrophysicist or someone who knows about like space and stuff like that. And there was a question about like Mercury being in retrograde, and they actually said that because of how Mercury's like orbit around the sun is shorter than ours or faster than ours or one of those, Mercury will look like it's going backwards in the sky like most of the time.
So it's almost always.
So
in
it's like
retrograde.
Mercury's always in retrograde. So you can't really like you can, but it's not like certain periods of time you can blame it on Mercury being in retrograde because it's like always in retrograde. So that
But
means
that means that it's always true. So
that
I can
there-
always use it as an excuse.
that's the other way I was going to go with that is that, you know, blame Mercury all the time because it's pretty much always in retrograde. Okay, so that had nothing to do with knitting, but that's okay. Like, two of my promises when I started this channel,
Whereas it
Was-
was only going to be knitting or
we're
crochet.
gonna keep this focused on the task at hand, and we're not gonna go on forever and ever and ever and ever. And I break those a lot.
Because if we didn't plan it the right amount of time before we opened, we could go on for hours.
Oh yeah, and oddly enough, I think some people would watch us for hours.
I know.
I say oddly enough because I don't get it, but you all get it, and that's great. Okay, circling back, leading into this is the final reminder. Facebook Live, it only happens on the monthly Sunday ones. You can go to my Facebook page, the Sun Dragon Art and Fiber Facebook page, and see it happening and see my mug and hear what's going on Zoom. Or if you come in on Zoom, then you get to see the other people who are attending. And different people have different comfort levels, and they join us on different places for that. But
You get in with the shop phone number.
I was going to lead you into that. What is the shop phone number, Liz, that they can use?
828-877-3550.
I talked over the beginning part of that. Say it again.
828-877-3550.
Okay, that's for Sundays and for Tuesdays. Every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. I said it right. Okay, good. And then once a month on Sundays from 2 to 4. And that segues kind of to this. Go ahead, Liz.
Dear Becky and Lizzie, I'm going to throw in an and Hannah just because she's here. I recently found your show on YouTube. I heard about your sit and stitch Zoom meetings. I'm not an experienced knitter and I don't know if I know enough to take part in it. Can you explain what skill level I need to comfortably join your Tuesday night sit and stitch Zoom meetings? Thanks.
Thank you for wanting to join. Hannah, how would you answer this question?
All levels can join.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even necessarily need to be knitting or crocheting actively while you're there. It's just a place to come and be in your community.
See, we even got Hannah to come sometimes.
Yes. I try to come until I realize it's 7:01 and I'm like, oops, it's beyond my control.
You mean 8:01?
No, I mean 7:01.
7 is when we start.
You can come in at 7:01.
I know, but by that point I'm typically on the phone with...
Oh, you're doing something else.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Boyfriends.
Yes.
Which is a good thing. I'm sorry. My face did things that have nothing to do with how I feel about that. That was weird. So, yeah, I love the question because it's one of those, like, we may have people who aren't joining us because they are worried about, am I good enough to join? And we like to say here, we're a judgment-free zone. And there's no, you have to be at this level of knitting to join.
When you started sit and stitch in person, like 8 years ago when the shop opened.
8 years ago, wow.
I
Okay,
know,
yeah.
it's weird. People would come in and go, do I have to knit to come to sit and stitch? No. We had knitters, crocheters, needle pointers.
Oh, wow.
We had people that would just draw.
We had someone who came and just drew.
We had somebody who just bought a bag of popcorn and sat there and hang out. Like,
and yeah, well, and here's the other thing I want to make really clear about sit and stitch is it's sometimes we have people who come and they're like, I have to ask all my knitting questions and I have to do this and I have a list, or we're gonna it's more community hangout time. Mm-hmm. It's we may or may not even talk about knitting. Like I am really big on, we keep politics out of it. We keep religion out of it. We keep hot button topics that we might disagree and get mad at each other out of it. And sometimes even I might start to break that rule, and we try to, like, keep each other in check. Mm-hmm. We try to not offend other people on it, and I've had to address a couple of issues of that, of not being aware of what your language is conveying to someone else. But for the most part, we're just hanging and connecting to someone else who does crafty type stuff.
there's lots of, hey, how's life going? What's the weather like? Oh, so-and-so, you held up this thing. What are you making? Oh, okay. But most of the time, it's just
we're not gonna
chilling.
We're not gonna say, do you know how to do a chicken foot double decrease? And if you don't, you can't be here. I call it a
three stitch decrease. But
it's
it's a fancy thing.
center double decrease. It's I call it a chicken foot because on a chart it looks like a little like funky looking chicken foot. So, but we're not gonna like have a you need to know this much to join. If possible, if anyone starts talking about like more complicated stuff, we're not gonna assume everyone knows what they're talking about, and B, we're also like, we want people to feel comfortable. Like, the point is not, I have had sit and stitches, or I've had people come, especially when we had in person, people come to sit and stitch, and they kind of came to show off. And they came so they could show everything they've been making and make a big deal. And they wanted to be oohed and awed over. And honestly, that's not the vibe I want at my sit and stitch.
For if you show off your stuff on sit and stitch, everybody's
awesome.
like, oh, that's cool, that's pretty, but it's not like we go on and on. It's just
Well,
like,
and
that's
honestly,
cool. What pattern, and-
yeah, honestly, anything that people want
Yeah.
to share, we're gonna think is cool. It doesn't matter the level or the aptitude of the knitter. And honestly, I've even talked about this before on my single podcast and other things. Like, what I've observed about human nature is that we are our own worst critics. Like, we tend to think that what we're doing sucks or has so many errors, and we can't, and it's like, ooh, this is not gonna like hold up, or this is not gonna be on the same level as. And most people I find who come in and need help and assistance, it's a lot better than they think it is. And it looks beautiful regardless of how many little errors they can see in it. And, I could go on it at length, but it's like, we just want people to come and hang and feel comfortable. And honestly, it's not meant to be a place to overanalyze and ask a lot of questions and things like we have lessons and other things for that. It's really meant to be hangout time.
Yeah.
Although I also don't want to dissuade people if they're coming for the first time or the second time, or if they have a question, they can post it to the group and get feedback. Absolutely. I also don't want to precondition it of like, you can't ask questions. No.
Just know if you ask a question to a group of knitters or crocheters, crafters, yarn people,
You're gonna get a bunch of responses.
if you ask
It won't be very
if you
They're all
ask
gonna be
10
different.
people, you're gonna get 30 different answers. It's just a thing.
Like, I haven't pulled it down, but I need to pick colors for my harvester. And I was like, I could ask the group, and I could ask you
It's
all
a
to
trap.
comment, and I would probably get evenly split votes for every single color combination I wanted to
Just
make.
between the two of us.
Just-
It's pretty
Yeah, I know, right? Liz was like, do this! And then I showed it to Hannah, and she was like,
It's because she doesn't like blue.
No, I love
uh-huh.
blue. I really do. There's a lot of blue in my wardrobe. It's blue with colors. Certain colors is a
it's
no-go.
blue with other stuff.
For you, we've had this discussion. Anyway,
And everything's
Like,
personal,
that
and
dress
that's
is
okay.
really cute because blue goes with certain colors. Blue with other colors, though, does not go.
the
okay.
colors she wanted to use are in her dress.
What colors did... We'll have this conversation.
Okay, so I hope that kind of addresses the question. I really hope that this person who wrote this letter will join us on a Tuesday. I mean, if you want to kind of stick your toe in the water, come to the Sunday one on Facebook. We won't even know you're there. And you can see how it functions. You can see how,
You
like,
can hear us on Zoom.
on Sunday, I might hold up a bunch of stuff I'm working on. Like, there's a little bit of a different vibe to the Sunday ones than to the Tuesday ones. In both of them, I'm kind of playing host, so I talk a lot. But I also like to fill uncomfortable spaces. So, silences. That's what I meant.
Both.
Anyway. Kind of works for both. So, Sunday might be it's a little more informal on Tuesdays, but that's because I'm not trying to, like, play to the YouTube camera. I mean, the...
Facebook?
Thank you.
Facebook
Facebook
Live is
camera as well.
posted for future watching
Yeah,
too,
so there's a little bit different dynamic
Forget
going
about
on
that.
Sundays. Yeah, I keep it.
That's
keep it
why
there
we're
so
not
people
on
can look back.
Facebook Live.
Well, you guys could be, but you don't come over to my house.
That's why
So-
we're not on Facebook
Yeah,
Live.
no.
Yeah, no. Never mind that this is up for almost all eternity.
I have to
Anyway.
do this with class all the time.
Okay,
I'm rehearsed with it.
this works. Okay. Anyway, we're really hoping you join. Yeah, I want to talk about the make-alongs, which finally got on the schedule, but I would like y'all to give a chance if you want to show something off to the camera or talk about what you are working on. Let's make sure we don't run out of time on that.
I have two things
Okay.
before I spontaneously combust because my matcha is getting
Are
really
you hot
warm.
right now?
Like,
Because I'm cold, but I'm
really
not very, okay.
Keep
warm.
stabbing me, too.
Oh.
I was like, how are you? Oh. Okay, so
Actually, I have three things. Sorry.
you have the floor.
Okay. So last
We'll
Wednesday,
get out of the way.
last Wednesday night, I went home and started a cardigan.
And when we filmed
Eyeballs.
Wednesday, last week. We filmed
I'm sorry.
Wednesday instead of Thursday. So
I went home and started this.
It's
And it's
so pretty.
mamacha. And I could have finished it last night, but I made a dress. So,
she had tough choices to make.
I did. It has
This-
pockets.
Here's this is a different color of mamacha, but this is
It's 70% alpaca and 30% merino. And it's what I made my big
Squishy.
shawls out of like last year or the year before. It's
And
so yummy.
You have 3 colors in this.
I have 3 colors.
How many balls of yarn?
I will break into 12 balls. Like,
There's only like 50 yards
yeah,
ish.
52 or 54.
54. But I was just trying to round for.
Sorry, I know.
Don't say-
You know me.
Yep.
So
12 of these.
yeah, like 11 and 12.
And these
I
are
only need a tiny little bit, but you know.
this is just over $20 a skein. And she works in a yarn shop, so that's how she can
That's
do that.
my excuse for all of it. Just as
so
an aside,
Why were you poking Hannah? Stabbing
'Cause-
Hannah?
Because of the
I'm-
needles.
I still have the
I'm just-
sleeve on needles.
I like things repeated for people who might have missed it. Go ahead.
And as a complete aside on this, Hannah and one of our other knitters saw the pink and the green sitting in my office when I bought it, and we're like, what are you going to do with that? So when one of the other knitters came in and saw my sweater that I was working on Thursday before the snow, she was like, ooh, those are pretty colors. So I'm like, yep, those are the colors you poo-pooed in my office like weeks ago. So, haha. Anyway, not to
Okay.
the other knitter, to Hannah.
So,
Yeah.
did you use a pattern for that?
I did. I kind of Carolized the Twiggy cardigan off of Ravelry. It's supposed to be a gartered collar and then a stockinette sweater, and I seed
That's a lot of
stitched.
carelization.
I
Go ahead.
seed stitched the collar and I gartered the sweater.
Lizification.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
garter's warmer. Anyway,
I thought it was because you don't like purling.
that too.
But she did. Yeah.
She purled in the seed stitch.
I-
I was about
Pearl
to say,
no,
she,
no,
like,
but-
completely.
but all the rest of it
All the rest
That's
is
very
knit,
true.
had
including the
occasional pearls.
Yeah, because right
Go ahead.
here.
Yeah,
Including sorry, I cut you
the
off.
sleeves are garter, and sleeves in the round when you garter.
Oh.
Or you're supposed to knit a row and then purl a row when you're doing in the round to get
But
garter.
you do what?
I go one past the center, I do a wrap and turn, and I go back the other way, and go one past the center,
She
wrap
does-
and turn, and
Have I
go.
been doing sleeves?
No.
No. Liz does something complicated
So I don't
to
have
avoid
to purl.
purling. You have not been doing things wrong. She just likes to do this funky extra thing so that
I don't have to purl.
Yeah, and and if you look, you can kind of see
There's a
where
seam.
where she does her wrap and turns.
Oh,
But then she doesn't have to purl. So,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I made a dress last night.
She's
It's-
sticking to me. It's
Oh,
staticky.
it's staticky.
It's okay.
It's sheep.
That's cute. Is
and-
that fabric you got like
It's
Monday.
during the
happy.
storm?
No, it's fabric I got Monday.
No, I call that during the storm still because I
Wait,
still wasn't
like
leaving my
this
house.
Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cut it out.
She wanted to make a dress last night
Last
instead
ni-
of finishing her sweater.
I cut it out Tuesday night and serged
Okay,
all the
so-
pieces, and then
so-
I made it last night.
I can
this
tell
morning.
this like has it been washed?
Nope.
I didn't think so. This feels like new fabric from the
It's
fabric
new fabric
store.
from the fabric store.
So tell people what's on it in case they can't see the teeny tiny
It's-
print from
it's-
their side.
It's all sheep and knitting and wool and stitch and handmade and love to knit and piece and love. And it looks like there's cross stitch and like
Yeah, the words
Stitching.
are in stitching type things like cross
yeah,
stitch.
and all you knit is love.
Oh.
And anyway, and so then they had coordinating fabric with
course they
more
did.
sheepies.
sheepies that are wearing scarves and hats. How
And
cute
earmuffs.
is that? What?
There's earmuffs and goggles. See, some of them are wearing goggles and earmuffs.
Wait, I didn't see the goggles.
Look
That's
at that.
adorable.
Do you see that?
Yeah, right
Like,
there.
okay, I'm not touching the girls, but she's got right up front and center.
That
They're
is
wearing
Isn't that cute?
ski goggles.
So I was like, I have to have this. And Kathy at Beginnings Quilt Shop was like, it could be a work uniform. And I was like, yeah, because it's sheep and knitting and everything.
Everything's a work
It's so
uniform
happy
for
for
Liz.
you.
It is.
It is.
It's very happy, but it's also very dark and broody. And
Because
so
the
I'm like,
background's black, so she's okay with it.
yeah, and red. There's black and red, little bit of white and blue, So
That's so funny. That's so funny.
the last thing is I took Sunday off from doing my sweater, and I wove me a scarf.
That loom she brought in last week.
Yeah.
Very cute.
It was a Daydream Dye Works colorway that Daydream Dye Works doesn't exist anymore. It's sad, but I needed a scarf.
But Emerald, who did Daydream Dye
Yes.
Works, still exists, and now
Yes.
she has a family, and it's lovely.
yes.
We miss her yarn, but
It's
we
the
knew she had other
Tweety
things to
one.
do.
It's got all the Tweety flakes. I love it.
Oh, it's the BFL tweed
Yeah,
base?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome.
My happy place.
Hannah, what did you bring in? First of all, can I ask what you're wearing?
I am wearing my first sweater I ever made. It is the and.a sweater. I don't remember who the designer is, but it's a pattern I got off of Etsy. And I made it with one of the color-changing mohairs.
Yeah.
And then the Wool Addicts water.
Which
I
we don't
believe.
really carry anymore, but it's like the crimped alpaca. But you could totally make it, I think, with like a couple of mohairs, or you could hold a few things together if you wanted like fuzzier effects, which is really cool.
Yeah, it calls for, I think, like a bulky or super bulky, and it's
And you
just-
held a couple different
I
things
just
together
held
to
two
get that.
things together to make
Yeah.
it super fluffy.
It just looks so comfy.
It is. It's the most comfy.
And
I
it's
like the
super
really
warm.
baggy sleeves.
Yeah. And
And-
so for people who can't see, and you can turn around if you want, but you don't have to. The back is kind of open.
Yeah,
right? It's like a tie up
really
back.
open back, and it ties up with a ribbon. It's much easier to
Yeah.
see than explain.
Ta-da!
So,
So you
it's-
definitely wear something underneath it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
It depends on if you're going out to clubbing, and I don't do that, so But you get hot
I
dancing
don't
in
either.
that, right? Yeah,
So yeah.
But no, I think it's super cute, and it's the first sweater you finished, so I definitely wanted to make sure that people in YouTube land like got a chance to like experience it. So. Did you bring something in to show off? Though?
I brought in the Grand Canyon hat that I finished.
Yay! Which
Um,
actually goes with what you're wearing, which is super
It
cute.
does.
Is this for? This is for you? Or for
This
someone
is
else?
Julia's.
Okay.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is the one I was working on last week. Yeah, sorry.
This is when I
was
direct
stretching
a
it.
little bit. No, it's okay. You were getting ready, and I'm just like, anytime you're talking about it, just be like, woo.
So this is the Grand Canyon hat. It's one of the ones that was in that Knitting the National Parks book. It's one of the more
It's this
textured
big chunky
ones.
book that a
Yeah.
lot of people have, and if you don't have, go ahead and get it. You can't get it from us.
It's awesome.
But that one's cute because I've seen a lot of the colorwork hats that are like not striped colorwork, and this is more
Yeah.
striped, right?
This one's definitely more striped, and it has a bunch of different textures. It's for like every stripe, it has a different texture, which I thought was really, really cool. But I also really liked right up in here, it almost mimics a cable rather than making you do cables as it decreases. That was something that I really enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the Grand Canyon hat completed.
That's
And
very
I think the
cool,
Superwash
'cause-
220.
I mean, I love that it's showing you that people that want to get the book, that it's not all intricate color work. Like there's different things being used in different hat patterns, right?
Yes.
And that there isn't actual cables. Don't be afraid of cables. I was for the longest time, and then all of a sudden I was like, why have I not been doing cables my whole life?
Yeah.
But faux cables are really cool too.
They really are.
Yeah, and they
really
impress people. You can be like, look what I made, and they go, ooh, that looks complicated, and you can be like, like, I love that. So it's, I mean, no matter what you make, someone will be impressed. So I think that's awesome. Yeah. Cool. Excellent. Thank you. So I have too many things to show off yet again, but I'm going to have it segue. I got 10 whole minutes until we open.
Ooh.
Booyah! Okay, but I'm hoping I can also segue into the make-alongs by
Yes.
showing off some of these things. So, by the way, Leonard, who I showed off really fast last time, the llama, he is hanging on the wall in our living room knitting area.
Almost straight.
That was fun to watch.
it's hard to hold something that's heavy and crocheted to put it up on the wall and not have it, like, it's longer this way, even though it's supposed to be square because of the weight.
Tried, and I really appreciate
I tried to pull it so it was square, and it was doing funky things. So he's a very tall, elongated llama now, and that's okay. And he's a little boopy at the top like this, but...
There's a rainbow.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot. Okay, the middle's a little higher than the ends, and I tried.
It was fun to watch.
I failed miserably, but I rectified it as
I was
best
there for
could.
part of it, and watching your face was the best.
I don't like you right
I was
I
like,
know.
but I was joking in a very loving way that we don't need a level. We have Hannah, because Hannah will get upset if things aren't level, and that helps me.
I hung it.
I like to use that as an asset.
I hung 3 pieces of artwork, and I used a level and a measure thing and
Ruler.
yes, and the 3 pieces are all off by 1/8 of an inch, and Hannah's the only one that can tell. So
my
she
gosh.
is our level.
Okay, I'm gonna try to human level, and it's awesome. So I have a bunch of things I'm working on, of course. I am trying to make my dad's birthday is the 20th of January, which is soon. It's Monday. And these aren't going to be... Did I say January? I did say
Yeah.
January.
Yeah.
I suddenly was
You
like...
said Monday.
Yeah. From when we're
Regardless
filming
of if
this,
you said January.
I'm trying to make him bed socks out of the Harriet Fine, which is alpaca and nylon. So technically, like, the nylon should make it more sock worthy. Alpaca, if he wore these around in his shoes all day, it might wear out really fast. But his feet are cold at night, so I'm trying to make him bed socks, and they probably won't get done. Once I put these nails on, I slowed down considerably, but I'm picking up speed again as I get back used to having my long nails on. So that's something I'm working on kind of on the side. Harriet Fine, I think, is up online. Again, if you use it for socks, it's really soft. I want to say it's coming out bigger than I expected it to. I'm on size 3 needles. But know that the elasticity of them is going to be very different than making them with wool. So,
And I use them as bed socks. I wouldn't use them as walking around socks because
they're gonna
will
wear
get
out.
holes fast.
Yeah. But they'll be so soft. So we have these little kits in the shop now. Amagurumi kits. I'm making this strawberry. She looks a little funny right now because she's only partially done. But I started making her and during the snowstorm. And her hat comes off, so I haven't made her hat yet. So right now, this is what I got.
So cute.
Isn't she cute? Yeah, this is what I got.
It's a bold strawberry shortcake.
It's a bold strawberry shortcake right now. She's gonna have cute arms and a cute skirt and a cute hat. And for locals, so here's the deal with the make-along and the lessons. Make-alongs are for everybody, but we're not doing a huge lecture series and other things. I haven't figured out how to make the faraway people be part of the like communal aspect in a super interactive way yet. Like, I want to, but I also want to not burn out. So right now, the lessons and classes and things that we have, mostly, I might have 1 or 2 that I can do virtually as well, but they're mostly in person. But then make-alongs, like, I want to do some amagurumi make-alongs during the year. Those are more, know that other people are making them. I'm doing sit and stitch for in-person, geared towards, like, amagurumi and the other make-along, and the actual, like, sweater make-alongs I have scheduled. But I haven't figured out how to do that virtually yet, like, specifically just for that, because that's even more time in the schedule that I don't know where to find right now. But class for this, or any of these, or just learning some tips and tricks for amagurumi type things, in person is, I believe, February 15th is when I scheduled that. So, and I want to start doing amagurumi make-alongs starting in March from the book that I did all my Christmas presents out of. I'm going to hang on to that because I only have 5 more minutes for another day. But, so that's another thing. I have too many things I've been working on. I'm going to move to the make-alongs in just a second. But I had to show you all. I think I showed you. Did I show you last week the cats? I think I did.
They were just peeking over the
They
cords.
were just peeking, but guess what? I have whole faces now.
Oh my gosh.
That's so cute.
Again, storm knitting. I have whole faces now. And this thing might end up being huge because I forget about gauge when I'm doing color work to make it not pull. But she also has you go up a needle size for the color work part. So the yoke of this with the sitting cats could go down to my knees. We'll find out. But we'll find out it won't be that bad. But we'll find out as I work on it. So that's happening. One other thing I'm super excited about, so I want to show you all. So we got, oh gosh, this is all stuck. Okay. This magazine we've had for months. And the yarn that's on the cover, which we ordered, only came in yesterday. And it was so pretty I had to start something. I was totally going to do...
Shocker.
I'm looking at you because I brought home... I was going to work on one of the make-alongs. I was going to work on my Hexie cardigan, which I will show off in a second.
And you didn't.
She forgot her hook.
I forgot my hook here. And I looked high and low all over my house. And I found almost every single hook size except the one I'm using in this sweater. Because they're all here. Because it's the Mythological 7 that I'm always using in every project. And they're all here. I forgot to bring all of them home.
Using a mythological 7.
Or just
It's the
always
hook
make
you're
sure
gonna use.
that, or
I
always
use an
make sure it's in my bag is what
That's
I need
sad.
to be doing, and I didn't do that. So I
Well,
had to.
Not really.
I
But
had
you have
to.
to go up to an age because you're so tiny.
You're mean.
So I had to start the scarf that's on the cover of this.
Absolutely had to.
I had to. I had nothing else to do. And this is Sayun. It's a new yarn from Noro. It's gorgeous. It's not even in the system yet. I can't even tell you how much we're going to charge for it yet, but it's so pretty.
We'll find out
It's a
today.
DK.
'Cause I'm gonna buy a couple of balls.
Yeah, we're going to get in the system today. Online, maybe. Hot maybe on that. But in the system for buying it at the shop. It's a DK. It's 150 grams, and it's almost 500 yards for that 150 grams. And it is wool and polyamide. So it's maybe a little more durable or stretchy than like Ito and a little thinner because it's not just wool. It's also got some polyamide, synthetic in it to keep it going.
Those that like Patagonia, it's just a hair thicker than Patagonia in the DK range.
Yes. Okay. So I'm running out of time now, but I decided to do sweaters. Unless someone walks up, we're gonna keep filming. So, for a couple more minutes, and we'll be ready to say bye bye if we see anybody. I decided to do like single sweaters for make-alongs this year, instead of big categories with lots of options because I was giving lots of options and people were assuming I was making them all and I wasn't. So every 2 months, we're going to have a different sweater that everyone can make and do along with us. And the first one I picked is the Staffin sweater by Rebecca Clow. And I might be saying her last name wrong. But it's Creabea or Creabea. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just looking at you to look at someone else. And
Cool.
I'm looking past her at possible cars coming up. So, I have traffic. The cool thing about the Staffin, it's got a lot of texture, like layers of texture, but it's just knits and pearls, and there's a faux bobble in it, which I think is kind of cool because not everyone likes bobbles. But like the top part is ribbing.
My texture and Morse code.
She could put Morse code in this. I'm not. So it's got ribbing. And I have just done the short row shaping on the pullover. The reason I like this, it's brand new, so it's catching fire on Ravelry right now. It has a pullover, a cardigan, and a vest option, all for about $9-ish, give or take, because there's a conversion rate, so it'll change day to day for people in the U.S. It's worsted weight. I'm using the Hooray, which is a mono, it's a Pima cotton merino wool blend. It's actually really soft. It's my first time dabbling with merino cotton blends. I don't know if it's yummy soft.
It's even yummier knit up than it is in the ball. But it's yummy in the ball.
I can try to get this stuff online too. Because it's got the cotton in it, you're not going to get as much yardage out of a 100-gram skein as you would out of wool. Cotton's just heavier. So I'm going to need at least 10 balls for this sweater, I think. But 10 skeins. But the other thing I like about the Staffin as our first make-along is that it is very size inclusive. There's like 11 or 12 sizes. And I'm making size 6. I'm kind of making one of the in-the-middle sizes. But it goes up to like 70-plus inch bust size. So it's a lot of inclusivity on it for different people of different sizes to make it. You even said
it measures your bicep.
You can check the bicep measurement in the schematic of what size you want to pick, which I think is super helpful because a lot of people who are carrying a little more weight, some of that is in your upper arms, and it changes. You can't just take the small size and just make all the proportions bigger. You've got to kind of shift, and I think she's done a lot of test knitting and a lot of grading for that, which is really cool. So I've already started it, but our make-along is not going to really kick off till February. I've started it to get a jump start so I can look at the pattern and get ready for it. Locals at the beginning of February will have a Saturday kickoff class, which gets you reduced rates on other things as it goes along. For other thing for locals is we're going to have like an every other Wednesday free sit and stitch, but that is just for community, not for help. During that time, if you want help, you'll go into the teaching room with me and there'll be a fee associated with it. But that's all geared around locals, and we'll just see what happens with that. For faraway knitters, we still want you to make this with us, and it doesn't cost anything to just join in and make it. I don't really have virtual options, and we have someone who's pulled up. I don't really have virtual options for faraway people to join in without a fee associated. And so I might start to do a we have to go. Sorry. I might try to do a sit and stitch option for people far away, but if we do that, that'll be extra, and there would probably be a fee associated with it. So I want to talk about the rest of the make-along, but what I'm going to have you do, because we have to open the shop now, is it's on my website, sundragonartandfiber.com. There is a make-along page that I've put up. Everything else, we'll talk more about it next week. We got to go.
Like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the fun stuff.
Bye!